One of the other places that you are obviously very worried about is the Central African Republic. And I just want to show our viewers the area that we're talking about here. The Central African Republic is a landlocked country, of course, in Central Africa. It's got a lot of resources, gold, for instance, a lot of gold. And it's got an atrocious civil war going on that is increasingly becoming a sectarian conflict, sir. There's a peacekeeping force on the ground of about 1,100 African Union soldiers. That's clearly not enough. What needs to happen in the Central African Republic?
Well, the Central African Republic is a country without an infrastructure of anything. It doesn't have a governance infrastructure. It doesn't have public services. It's a chaotic disaster zone. And little over 4 million people who are living there, 1.5 million of them now are quite destitute. And on top of that, this conflict is now raging. We're very worried that the conflict is inciting more division between Muslims and Christian communities. And we see the seeds of a genocide here unless we can get on the ground in a way that stabilizes the situation from a security point first and foremost. And then with security will follow the stabilization that we need for humanitarian assistance and development.
Yeah, you say you need a force on the ground for stabilization, but who in the international community has an appetite for that? I mean, clearly, none of the big nations want to go into Syria at this point, let alone the Central African Republic. How much of an appetite do you think there is internationally to try and solve this conflict, or to even do anything to make people stop killing each other?
Well, I sincerely hope that the Security Council, which will have this issue brought to it very shortly, will have the appetite, recalling what happened in Rwanda, recalling what happened in the Balkans, recalling Darfur. I mean, the bottom line here is it is self-evidently obvious to anybody who goes there what is needed. There is no national security capacity, neither army nor police force, and therefore the international community has an obligation to protect that population when domestically the capacity doesn't exist. So that's the message that we're giving to the Security Council. It has to step up to its responsibility. It has that responsibility, and therefore it has to deploy an effective peacekeeping force to stabilize the situation. And we are very, very concerned that the seeds, as I say, of a genocide are being sown in the way massacres are being committed against the two different communities by armed bandits and armed groups from those communities. And of course, it's the innocent civilians that are paying the price here. A tragedy in the making, and one that can be prevented from becoming a catastrophe.
And one that sort of left the spotlight now. Thank you very much, John Ging, for coming on the program.